Commander Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the Lunar Defense Station, her eyes fixed on the distant stars. 20 years of service in the United Earth Defense Force hadn't prepared her for this moment. The massive alien vessels had appeared without warning, materializing at the edge of the Kuiper Belt like ghostly leviathans. "Commander," Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice crackled through her comm. "The alien flagship is broadcasting again." Chen took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. "Put them through." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the towering form of High Marshal Vex Thor. The alien's crystalline carapace caught the light, sending prismatic patterns dancing across the deck. Despite their numerous conversations over the past week, Chen still couldn't read the subtle shifts in the being's compound eyes. "Commander Chen." Vex Thor's translated voice resonated with artificial warmth. "The Galactic Empire extends its gratitude for Earth's hospitality during these diplomatic exchanges. Our Supreme Council is most pleased with humanity's potential." Chen maintained her diplomatic smile, even as her gut twisted with suspicion. The Empire's sudden appearance with their offers of advanced technology and protection seemed too convenient, too carefully orchestrated. "We're honored by the Empire's interest in Earth, High Marshal. Though I must admit, my superiors are curious about the increasing number of Imperial ships entering our system." Merely standard diplomatic protocol. Vex Thor's mandibles clicked in what Chen had learned was amusement. The Empire always ensures adequate protection for potential protectorate worlds. Protection. The word sent a chill down Chen's spine. She'd studied enough Earth history to recognize the euphemism for what it was. Back in her private quarters, Chen activated her quantum-encrypted terminal, connecting to a secure channel. Dr. Marcus Wong's weathered face appeared on the screen, his usual jovial expression replaced by grim determination. "Tell me you found something, Marcus." The xenorchaeologist nodded slowly. "We decoded more of the artifacts from the Mars dig." "Chen, these aren't the Empire's first diplomatic visits to our sector. The ancient civilizations we found traces of, they were all protected by the Empire. None of them exist anymore." Chen's fingers tightened on her desk. "How long?" "Based on their fleet movements and communication patterns, 2 weeks, maybe less, before they drop the pretense. They're positioning for a full invasion, Sarah. Standard practice. They offer protection, wait for the species to relax their guard, then strike. Then we have 2 weeks to prepare our surprise." Chen pulled up classified defense schematics on her terminal. "How's Project Phoenix coming along?" Marcus's eyes gleamed. "The reverse-engineered shielding is ready for testing. If we're right about the quantum entanglement principles we observed in their tech, we might have a fighting chance." "Good, because I'm done playing diplomat." Chen began typing rapid commands into her terminal, activating dormant defense protocols across the solar system. "Time to show the Empire why you don't underestimate humanity." Across Earth's cities, beneath the seemingly peaceful surface, military installations hummed to life. In underground bunkers and hidden orbital platforms, weapons of human ingenuity waited for deployment. The Empire thought they were dealing with a naive species ready for subjugation. They were about to learn how dangerous humanity could be when backed into a corner. As Chen watched another Imperial diplomatic vessel enter orbit, she allowed herself a small, dangerous smile. Let them think they had the upper hand. Humanity's warning shot would come soon enough, and it would shake the foundations of their precious empire. Deep beneath the Atacama Desert, in a facility that didn't officially exist, Dr. Marcus Wong stared at the holographic display with a mixture of awe and horror. The decoded alien transmission floating before him confirmed their worst fears about the Empire's true intentions. "Play it again," he instructed the AI system. The message reconstruction shimmered in the air, Imperial script transforming into Earth standard text. Phase 2 INITIALIZATION. System 3721. Sol. Resource extraction protocols prepared. Indigenous species, marked for processing. Estimated resistance potential, minimal. Commence subjugation. 14 planetary rotations. Marcus's hands trembled as he established a secure link to Lunar Command. Commander Chen's face appeared, her expression hardening as he shared the decoded transmission. "It gets worse," Marcus continued, pulling up additional data streams. "We've detected quantum signature spikes throughout the system. They're positioning stealth platforms, Sarah. Classic encirclement tactics. How did you crack their encryption?" Chen's eyes narrowed. Marcus gestured to a crystalline structure pulsing with internal light. "Remember those ceremonial gifts they presented during the first diplomatic exchange? They're not just decorative. They're quantum resonators, monitoring all our communications, but they didn't expect us to reverse engineer them so quickly. Or at all," Chen added grimly. "What's the status of the Phoenix platforms?" Marcus switched feeds, showing a series of orbital coordinates. "We've managed to deploy 37 platforms using the Empire's own stealth tech against them. They're completely blind to our countermeasures, but we'll need more time to achieve full coverage. Time we don't have." Chen's image flickered as she consulted something off-screen. "We've lost contact with our outer system outposts. They're starting to move." In high orbit above Mars, the Empire's true intentions were becoming clear. What they had claimed were cultural exchange vessels were revealing themselves as troop carriers and weapon platforms. The facade of diplomacy was crumbling. Back on Earth, humanity's resistance was taking shape in unexpected ways. In abandoned subway tunnels beneath New Shanghai, engineers worked tirelessly to adapt Imperial shield technology for urban defense grids. Quantum physicists in Geneva had cracked the principles behind the Empire's faster-than-light communications, developing countermeasures that would blind their coordination efforts. Most crucially, in a hidden facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Elena Santos and her team had made a breakthrough that could change everything. "It's their hive-mind connection," Elena explained during an emergency briefing with Earth's Defense Council. "The Empire's military efficiency comes from their quantum-linked neural network. But that connection is their weakness. We can use it to introduce a cascade failure across their entire command structure." Admiral James Carter, his dark face illuminated by tactical displays, leaned forward. "You're talking about a computer virus." Elena shook her head, her eyes bright with fierce determination. "Something better. A quantum virus. One that speaks their own language. When they try to access our systems, it will backfire through their neural network. They'll never see it coming." As the Council debated the ethical implications of such a weapon, more Imperial ships arrived in the solar system. Their pretense of peaceful intentions was wearing thin, but humanity needed them to maintain the charade just a little longer. In her Lunar Command Center, Commander Chen received a priority alert. The Empire's flagship was requesting another diplomatic meeting, no doubt to present more ultimatums disguised as generous offers. "Accept the meeting," she instructed her staff. "Let's keep them talking while we finish our preparations." Chen activated her secure terminal, sending a coded message to all Earth's hidden defense installations. "Phoenix protocol active. Maintain STEALT. Await final authorization." As she watched the Imperial ships maneuver through the solar system, positioning themselves for what they thought would be an easy conquest, Chen allowed herself a moment of grim satisfaction. The Empire had spent millennia perfecting their strategy of conquest through false diplomacy, but they had never encountered a species quite like humanity before. They would learn, too late, that humans had one advantage the Empire couldn't comprehend: the desperate creativity of a species fighting for its very survival. When the Empire finally dropped its diplomatic mask, Earth would be ready with a surprise of its own. Admiral James Carter stood in Earth's primary defense command center, buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. The massive holographic display before him showed thousands of red dots representing Imperial ships, their formation tightening around the solar system like a noose. But scattered among them, invisible to Imperial sensors, were the blue markers of humanity's hidden defense platforms. "Final system check complete," Dr. Elena Santos reported, her hands dancing across the quantum interface. Phoenix platforms are reporting optimal stealth signatures. The Empire's sensors are reading them as background radiation. Carter nodded, his expression stern. And the quantum virus. Uploaded and waiting. The moment they try to access our defense grid, it'll piggyback through their neural network. Elena's dark eyes gleamed with fierce pride. They won't know what hit them. A priority alert flashed across the main display. Commander Chen's face appeared on the screen, her image transmitted from Lunar Command via their new quantum-encrypted channels. Admiral, the Empire's showing their hand. They're demanding immediate access to Earth's defensive capabilities for security integration. When I refused, High Marshal Vex Thor dropped the diplomatic act. They're giving us 6 hours to surrender unconditionally. Carter's jaw tightened. Then it's time. Initiate Operation Shadow Protocol. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden preparations began to bear fruit. In the asteroid belt, what the Empire had dismissed as mining operations revealed themselves as massive rail-gun platforms, their barrels charged with dark matter projectiles. Civilian ships scattered throughout the system suddenly dropped their transponder signatures, their hulls equipped with reverse-engineered Imperial stealth technology. Dr. Marcus Wong's voice came through the command channel from his facility in the Atacama. The quantum resonators are primed. The moment they try to activate their neural network for combat coordination, our countermeasure package goes live. In orbit around Mars, what appeared to be standard communication satellites began reconfiguring themselves. The Empire's scans had shown them as primitive relay stations, but they were far more. Each housed a quantum entanglement device, capable of disrupting the faster-than-light communications the Empire relied upon for fleet coordination. All defense grid sectors reporting ready, Elena announced, monitoring the global network. Urban shield generators are powered up but dormant. The Empire's still reading them as standard power distribution nodes. Carter opened a secure channel to all Earth forces. This is Admiral Carter. For months, we've prepared for this moment while maintaining the illusion of diplomatic cooperation. The Empire thinks they're dealing with a primitive species, easily conquered. Today they learn how wrong they are. He paused, looking at the tactical display where Imperial ships were moving into attack positions. They expect us to either surrender or mount a conventional defense. Instead, we're going to show them something they've never seen in all their millennia of conquest. A species that studied their playbook and wrote a new one. In her lunar command center, Commander Chen watched as the Empire's fleet began their final approach. The massive ships moved with practiced precision, following battle plans perfected over countless conquests. But this time would be different. All Phoenix platforms maintain stealth protocols, Chen ordered. Let them think they have us surrounded. Admiral Carter, status of the quantum virus deployment. Ready for upload the moment they try to access our systems, Carter confirmed. Dr. Santos' team outdid themselves. The virus will use their own neural network to spread confusion through their entire command structure. Elena's voice carried a note of grim satisfaction. The beauty of it is, they won't be able to shut it down without severing their neural links, and their entire military doctrine depends on that hive-mind coordination. As the 6-hour deadline approached, humanity's forces remained hidden but ready. The Empire's ships loomed ever closer, their weapons charging, still unaware that their targets were not as defenseless as they appeared. Message from the Imperial flagship, a communications officer announced. High Marshal Vex Thor demands our answer. Carter exchanged looks with Chen and his command staff. This was the moment every human in the solar system had prepared for. Their response would trigger either humanity's finest hour or its last stand. Send our reply, Carter commanded, his voice steady. Tell them humanity's answer is coming. They just won't expect the form it takes. The Empire struck first, as humanity knew they would. Massive energy beams lanced out from their capital ships, aimed at Earth's major population centers. But instead of finding defenseless cities, their weapons splashed harmlessly against quantum-shifted shields, the reverse-engineered technology perfected through months of secret preparation. High Marshal Vex Thor's voice boomed across all frequencies. Your primitive defenses cannot. The transmission cut off abruptly as humanity launched its counterattack. Phoenix platforms, execute primary sequence. Commander Chen ordered from Lunar Command. Across the solar system, hidden defense platforms shed their stealth fields. The Empire's neat formation suddenly found itself caught in a deadly crossfire. Admiral Carter watched from the Rocky Mountain Command Center as the first phase of humanity's battle plan unfolded. Dr. Santos, initiate the quantum virus. Elena's fingers flew across her console. Virus deploying. Their neural network is trying to adapt, but, yes, it's spreading through their command structure. On the tactical display, confusion rippled through the Imperial fleet. Ships began moving erratically as conflicting orders flooded their neural network. The virus wasn't just disrupting their communications, it was feeding false tactical data directly into their hive mind. Mars Defense Grid, you have weapons free, Carter commanded. The satellites orbiting the red planet revealed their true nature, unleashing streams of quantum-destabilized particles that tore through Imperial shields designed to stop conventional weapons. In the asteroid belt, humanity's rail-gun platforms opened fire. Dark matter projectiles accelerated to near-light speed, their impacts creating localized spatial distortions that ripped apart Imperial vessels from the inside out. Enemy fleet attempting to regroup, Chen reported. They're trying to sever their neural connections to stop the virus's spread. Dr. Marcus Wong's voice cut in from the Atacama facility. That's exactly what we wanted. Without their hive mind coordination, they're fighting like individuals against a unified force. The Empire's response was brutal but unfocused. Their superior technology and overwhelming numbers should have guaranteed victory, but humanity's preparations had turned their own strengths against them. Each Imperial ship now fought alone, their centuries of reliance on neural-linked combat, leaving them ill-prepared for independent action. Multiple Imperial capital ships attempting emergency FTL jumps, a tactical officer announced. Their formations are breaking down, but victory wouldn't come easily. A group of Imperial dreadnoughts, their commanders having physically severed their neural links, began a coordinated push toward Earth. Their weapons fire intensified, starting to overwhelm the planetary shield grid through sheer power. Shield generators 3 through 7 showing critical strain, Elena reported, her hands dancing across multiple interfaces. We can't take much more of this. Carter's jaw tightened. Deploy the Chimera squadrons. From hidden bases across the solar system, ships of human design but incorporating stolen Imperial technology emerged. They were ugly, hybrid creatures, but they represented humanity's greatest advantage: the ability to adapt and improve upon their enemy's strengths. The Chimera squadrons struck from multiple vectors, their weapons combining human innovation with Imperial power. Quantum torpedoes phased through enemy shields, while modified railguns fired projectiles enhanced by stolen Imperial tech. The hybrid vessels moved in patterns no Imperial commander could predict, their human pilots thinking independently while coordinating through conventional channels. High Marshal Vex Thor's flagship, now isolated from its neural network, found itself surrounded by humanity's forces. Another transmission burst across the frequencies, this time tinged with something the Empire rarely expressed: uncertainty. This is impossible, Vex Thor's translated voice wavered. You are a primitive species. How could you? That was your first mistake, Commander Chen interrupted, her voice cold. You judged us by your standards, by your way of thinking. Humanity doesn't follow your rules of warfare, High Marshal. We make our own. The battle raged for hours as humanity's forces pressed their advantage. Imperial ships, accustomed to fighting as part of a unified consciousness, found themselves outmaneuvered by human tactics they couldn't predict or counter. The virus continued to spread through their ranks, turning their neural network into a liability rather than a strength. Imperial fleet showing massive tactical degradation, Elena reported, a fierce grin on her face. Their command structure is collapsing. We're actually going to. A blinding flash cut through space as Vexthor's flagship attempted a desperate gambit. The massive vessel charged its main weapon to beyond safety limits, preparing to unleash enough power to break through Earth's shields. All units, execute Omega Protocol, Carter commanded, his voice steady despite the stakes. Every human ship and platform synchronized their fire, converging on the Imperial flagship. The combined force of railguns, quantum weapons, and reversed-engineered Imperial tech struck simultaneously. For a moment, the flagship seemed to hold. Then its overtaxed systems failed catastrophically, the vessel breaking apart in a cascade of quantum explosions. The remaining Imperial ships, their coordination shattered, and their supreme commander lost, began to retreat. Humanity had won its first battle against the Galactic Empire. But as the adrenaline of victory faded, everyone in Earth's command centers knew this was only the beginning. The Empire would return, and next time they wouldn't underestimate humanity. In the aftermath of the battle, Earth's orbital space was littered with debris from Imperial vessels, a gleaming graveyard that served as testament to humanity's desperate victory. Commander Sarah Chen stood at her familiar position on the Lunar Defense Station, but this time her eyes weren't fixed on approaching threats. They were focused on the salvage operations underway. Preliminary damage assessment complete, Dr. Elena Santos reported through the quantum comm. We lost 30% of our defensive platforms and 12 Chimera squadrons, but Earth's shield grid held. More importantly, we've captured intact sections of Imperial technology, including 3 undamaged neural interfaces. Admiral Carter's hologram materialized in the command center. The Empire will be back. They've never failed to conquer a target world, and we just became the first. Our victory here will draw their full attention. Good, Chen replied, her voice firm, because we're not done sending messages. In the weeks following the battle, humanity's preparation for Round 2 took on a new dimension. Dr. Marcus Wong's team had made breakthrough after breakthrough, studying the captured Imperial tech. But their greatest discovery came from an unexpected source. The neural interfaces aren't just for combat coordination, Marcus explained during an emergency council session. They're the Empire's primary method of subjugating new species. They integrate conquered peoples into their hive mind, erasing individual identity over generations until they become just another part of the Imperial consciousness. Elena, who had joined the session from her lab beneath the Pacific, leaned forward. That's why they've never faced serious resistance before. By the time a species realizes what's happening, they're already partially integrated. But we turned their own weapon against them. The quantum virus that had disrupted the Imperial fleet had done more than just break their coordination. It had inserted human thoughts, human concepts, into their neural network. Ideas of independence, of resistance, had spread through their hive mind like a consciousness infection. We're receiving transmissions from across Imperial space, a communications officer reported. Other subjugated species, ones we thought were fully integrated into their collective, are beginning to question, to resist. The Empire's fighting rebellions on 12 different worlds. But victory had come at a cost. The Empire's retreat had left humanity with a choice: prepare for their inevitable return, or take the fight to them. The debate raged in government chambers and public forums across Earth. Admiral Carter stood before the United Earth Council, his expression grave. We could fortify Sol, try to weather their next assault. But that's not who we are. Humanity has never been content to just defend. We explore, we advance. And now we have a responsibility to those other species struggling to break free. Commander Chen, watching from her lunar post, couldn't help but agree. The Empire had sought to add humanity to their collection of conquered races. Instead, they had awakened something they couldn't control: hope. In a secure facility beneath Geneva, Dr. Elena Santos and her team worked tirelessly to perfect their quantum virus. The next version wouldn't just disrupt Imperial coordination, it would offer freedom to every enslaved consciousness in their neural network. Message incoming from Imperial space, the communications officer announced. It's different from their usual transmissions. The message that played through Earth's command centers wasn't the usual Imperial ultimatum. It was a chorus of voices, dozens of species speaking as individuals for the first time in generations. They had felt humanity's defiance ripple through the neural network, and it had awakened something long dormant in their collective consciousness: the desire for self-determination. Admiral Carter turned to the assembled Earth Council. The Empire wanted to make an example of us. Instead, we've become a symbol. Every world they've conquered, every species they've subjugated, they're all watching, waiting to see what we'll do next. In her lunar command center, Commander Chen drafted humanity's response, not just to the Empire, but to every species yearning to break free from their control. To the Galactic Empire, you came to Earth expecting submission. You found defiance. You sought to add us to your collection of conquered worlds. Instead, we showed you something you've never encountered in all your millennia of conquest: a species that refuses to kneel, that will fight not just for our own freedom, but for the freedom of others. To every world, every species under Imperial control, you are not alone. The Empire's greatest lie is that resistance is impossible. We proved them wrong. Their neural network isn't just a chain to bind you. It's a weapon we can use against them. And we're coming to help you break free. The Empire thought they were inviting Earth to join their galactic community. Instead, they've started a revolution, and humanity is just getting started. As her message was transmitted across the galaxy through captured Imperial channels, Chen watched Earth's forces prepare for their next move. The Empire had spent thousands of years perfecting their method of conquest, but they had never encountered a species like humanity. One that didn't just resist their technology, but turned it into a tool for liberation. The battle for Earth was over. The battle for the galaxy was about to begin.